Oh, there's been an awful lot of finger wagging going on. I have to say, so I woke up this morning and I found this article on my feed and I kind of read it and feelings. So this article about, Christian author kind of declares that, it's parents to blame for child-to-parent violence. Well, now there's so much to unpack with that, and I have to say I kind of almost lost myself in that. I wrote off a furious email to the publisher saying, what the heck is this response? Because it's a fantastic piece of news. It's kind of saying that police forces are finally looking at this and saying, actually, there's something going on. So it's an issue, it's not bad news, it's great news. It's news we're saying we measure what matters, and we're measuring it, and now it matters. So that's fantastic news. Is there a higher prevalence? Well, we don't know, because we've never measured it before. So it could be exactly the same. It could be less, but we don't know. So there you go. I'm absolutely apoplectic with it. I was spitting feathers, and someone who would profess to be a Christian, I thought, oh, that's it. I'm going to strike off. I'm going to throw my cards in. I'm going to stop paying my fees or whatever, my subscription. Absolutely livid. That you can take what is data that we're not really sure about, and you can just have an opinion about it. You can drag someone up who's some part of some sort of right-wing parental Christian lobby and who's got an opinion, and that's all it is. It's just a response full of things like, I think, mass media. Read a damn book. Just go out and read a damn book, because that's what you need to do. Read another damn book. There's lots of damn books about it. Read a blog, listen to a podcast, do something. But don't just tell me what you think. I tell you, as someone who's walked down shopping aisles and had my kid freaking out, as someone who's had eyebrows raised, as someone who's done everything in their powers, who is a competent parent, I know what it's like to be judged by other people. I've stood on the pitch line, on the football pitch, and I've been judged by the parents. I've been in every conceivable place, and I've been judged for my parenting. And this just stinks. You can blame the mass media, but actually what you're saying is these people, if you really want my opinion, you're saying these people are not good Christians, because the Bible says, spare the rod and ruin the child. Heavens, well, that disappeared from the article, didn't it? All of that kind of stuff. So, and that's, we're picking and choosing what we want from the Bible again, aren't we? Blum heck, you're not even allowed to eat shrimps if you believe everything the Bible says, and cats are not in the Bible as well, so they don't exist, do they? So, absolutely, this judgmental, ill-informed, driven by this agenda, this language like mass media, and you go, all right, we're hooking ourselves up with Trump now, aren't we? All of that kind of fake news. Rubbish. Absolute pish, pash, posh, tosh. So there's people sat in churches whose kids are kicking off at the back, and now they feel like they're bad Christians and they're not welcome because they're bad parents. Balderdash. So we can boil this down. We could read a book, couldn't we? Book. It's not the Bible though. We could read a book and we could say, let's get some facts on this. Let's get some actual facts and say something like, so there's three main causes. We have experience, the experience of children. Look, I cut my hand. Anyway, experience of children is one. We can look at the biology of children is another, and the systems that children live in that are hugely influenced by the first two. And also by the third one is kind of influences the third two, and the first two influence the third one. So we've got experience, biology, and systems. Right? We've got systems. Yes. But are we talking about systems that are broken? Or we didn't talk about authoritarian parent. And there's a direct link between authoritarian parent, the type of parenting that you're advocating, and children having bad behaviour. So you read a damn book. So we've got this model where people are saying, oh, you're authoritarian parent. Well, there's good evidence to suggest that kids who have authoritarian parents, when they get into teenage years, they kick off. So, we're not talking about that. We're talking about, maybe a permissive parenting. Oh, that's what we're talking about, isn't it? Oh, those permissive parents wearing corduroy. And, those millenniums drinking lattes and taking the children for baby chinos. That's what's wrong with the world. This is absolute balderdash. This should be absolutely trashed. I can say that Premier got in touch with me really quickly, and I did my comment at the end, which I rattled off really quickly on my tippy-tappy typing, and I have to say it wasn't particularly good tippy-tappy typing. I went with a bit more time, a bit more thought, but I was literally steam coming out my ears. This is just the worst sort of nonsense. It's pulling us back to where we want. And I have to say, from a Christian perspective, you're blaming parents. And of course, there are some parents who are not doing a great job. There are some parents who are doing a bad job. There are some parents whose behaviour, of course, is woven into this third element, the systems element. But actually, the majority of this is just people doing their best with no resources. You try and get a CAMHS appointment. You try and talk to a social worker about it. You try and tell your mother about it. Say, Mum, my kid kicks me in. Well, you try and put in a reward chart. My kids eat reward charts. You try a naughty step. My kid eats the naughty step. This is absolute balderdash. I don't think I'm making much sense, but I have to say that it's got me somewhat animated. And I am available for comment if Premier Radio wants to get... I'm looking over there because I've got it on my other screen. I have to say, it was absolute tosh. And please, don't read it. And I noticed there's no place for comments, because it would have been kicking off. And but that was a little Twitter storm in a teacup. Great though, great news, and it is great news that we've got some stats on it. Fantastic, fan-bloomin-tastic that someone's recording something because we measure what matters. Boom. Read this book. I am going to get Helen on the podcast because she is an absolute freaking star and she's been banging this drum since 2006 and beyond. Read that book mainly because if you buy one, I get some money. Anyway, right, I'm going to go because I've got, things to do. I've got other controversies to court. Oh, tomorrow on the podcast, really, if you've got this far, really interesting. Andrew Christie committed to letting adoptees have an influence on the Adoption and Special Guardianship Leadership Board, which is really good. I'm not saying that's going to change the world, but it's something. He also said he would measure children returning to care. He would kind of look at that because there are stats out there, but they're not necessarily recorded or they're not necessarily collated anywhere. So he said he would look at that. That's good news. And as well, he said that he would look at transracial adoptee placements because we have this kind of contradiction that there's more children of colour than there are adopters of colour, and adopters of colour adopters are predominantly white. Adopters of colour are misrepresented. Children of colour are misrepresented higher, adopters lower. So we've got this mismatch. Never going to meet. And I've heard the question, but why? So what? If we know that, what's the difference? But we measure what matters because we should know. Because we should. If we know that, then we can act to change that. We can develop strategies, training. We can look for new groups of adoptees, adopters, whatever. Prattling on. So that's on the podcast tomorrow. So Andrew is really good, and I would really recommend listening to that. This is like my little Friday to call in. I was going to do something else, but I got, my blood was up with those bloody Christians. Honestly.